right, questions for Gio. Start us off, Andrew.
Got another receiver in there. We've seen that Kobe pace throw a lot around here. What was the difference in him kind of evolving back into the guy that he was previously?
I don't think there was any evolving. I think Kobe's always been a great player, had a great fall camp. He's been great in practice. I think tonight was just one of those situations where the ball was going to him, he was getting open, I was finding him. But I think there was no development back into. I think he's always been Kobe, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
But he's a great player, and I'm proud of him, and he showed up really big for us tonight.
Now, how much did that change what you guys were able to do? Because the defenses have been so uber focused on Jordan. Now they got to be uber focused on Kobe. So what more did that allow you guys to do?
I think it's just going to open up the offense even more. Not just Kobe and Ship. I think, Chris and Chenard's coming along, and Nathan Leacock. Of course, you have a bad, tough player, right? But he's a great player. And there's a reason he was showing up tonight. He was on the field a lot more than he was previous games too.
Grant.
Hey, Gio, Grant Staff Territorials on SI. Talk to me about your initial reaction to when the fumble had happened, and have you talked to Nathan since that moment happened?
Of course, he wanted it to score, of course, but I think the first reaction was to just go talk to Nate. I've been in a situation against TCU where I had 2 turnovers. I went for a touchdown. I had 2 turnovers against UCF where I was like, man, this kind of sucks. But, for him, I think just showing up for him and being a good teammate. And I think the first thing I told him was, hey, we're going to get the ball back. You can never be down and out of a game. It was 3 minutes and 42 seconds left on the clock. We're just thinking get the ball back and try to go score again.
And kind of going off of that, Kobe, had a strong game. Nathan was seeing a lot more playing time. He actually was in the position to score there in a huge important time of the game. Ben Hall had a great game. What do you have to say about the offense and how they've improved over the course of the season, considering the fact that, Coach Belichick, he mentioned that you guys had improved throughout that bye week?
I think just development. Everybody was, at bye week, it felt like everybody was gunning after us, and we just hear bad thing after bad thing. But I think we got closer as a team, and we just developed and put our head down and got good practice in during the bye week. And I think it just came and showed up today. Of course, we didn't get the outcome we wanted, but I think it was a step in the right direction. Of course, the loss doesn't feel good, but I think there's nothing. Of course, we want to win, but there's something to look at. Like, man, we're a good team. We just got to keep putting things together. We still lost this game on our own. We had, 3 turnovers technically because of the last play, but 2 turnovers that we can clean up and we can win this ball game.
Jeremiah?
Yeah, Jeremiah Holloway, Inside Carolina. Obviously, you missed some time, practice time and the Clemson game and everything like that. What was the, last, 2-3 weeks like for you, working your way back to getting healthy and being able to get back on the field?
For me, just being with our training staff 24/7, they were huge for me, just showing up every day. Luke, Jory, Adrian, Sasha, all of them, they're just really helpful for me, just getting back healthy and, showing up at 8 a.m. if I had to, 7 a.m., just getting back and, just trying to be in there as a teammate. That's all I could do. I couldn't practice. I couldn't do much on the field, so I was just trying to be a good teammate off the field and, to support everybody going around. If any questions, I was just trying to be another coach out there for our team.
I guess this week, at what point did you kind of feel, back to game ready, hey, I can, kind of get out here and play 60 minutes again?
I want to say probably the end of last week, I started feeling really good. I was like, okay, I feel like I can play. And then this week, just getting back in preparation and feeling fully, not worried about, my body at all, not thinking about cutting or anything. And I think I was realizing, okay, I can play.
Back row.
You have Tim Keelan from ESPN. How are you guys processing as a group all the noise that's surrounding this?
For us, I think just keeping the noise outside, not worrying about it. If it gets into the locker room, I feel like as captains, we try to make sure, don't leave it out the locker room. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the outside noise. Coach Belichick's been really good for us, keeping us, on the straight, not worried about what's going on outside. Any rumors that's going on, he doesn't have to address any, but he addressed some for us, telling us, hey, I'm here, we're good. Coach has been awesome for us. He's been huge, and I think that bye week, funny enough, was really good for us. Of course, we didn't get the outcome we wanted, like I said, but we really grew as a team and just grew as a team and as chemistry because we're all still new to each other. I think this is a really good bye week for us. And
follow up, how did he address it? Did he call everyone together, or was it individual, or how did he? It was
a team conversation that Coach was really well about. Can't get too much into it, but he did a good job making sure that everyone felt confident and comfortable about where we're at as a team.
Stuart?
Yeah, Gio, you mentioned earlier that it felt like everyone's been gunning after you. What has that been like, this experience this year? Obviously nobody wants to lose, but on top of that, does it feel like people are extra critical of you guys, I guess, because of your coach?
Of course, you feel like I felt like there was a big spotlight on us, and you just got to tune it out. Of course, every day just showing up for practice and not worried about the outside noise like Coach told us. just showing up every day and just not worried about what's going on, and make sure again we don't bring it into the locker room and don't start dividing as a team. Making sure that we're stay as a team, offense, defense, special teams, just everyone being there as a team.
Time for 1 or 2 more. Let's go to Matthew.
Gio, Matthew Manor, Daily Courier. Coming from the TCU game until now, how have you seen the offense progress, whether it's understanding of scheme and on-field production and just understanding of each other? What would you say are the biggest differences from the TCU game to now?
I think we're just as a team we're growing, like you said, just as a team we're growing and just understanding our scheme and what we're trying to get accomplished. I feel like a lot of us kind of struggled in the sense of what are we trying to do, and everyone was kind of felt like we weren't a team. Everyone was individuals playing, just 11 individuals, and then we started growing as a team each week. I think it's starting to come together, and I think just overall, just as a scheme, we understand what we're trying to do now.
Shelby.
And we kind of asked some of your teammates this earlier, but just where do you guys go from here? What's the next step, and how do you define success, and what does that look like this season for you guys?
I think for us, just showing up tomorrow morning and getting our lift in, and just showing up day after day. At the end of the day, we're 2 and 4, 2 and 4, and we're gonna keep trying to win every game. I mean, at the end of the day, we can still go out there and win the next 6 games we got. We can't be worried about what's going on for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Just worried about what we got tomorrow and just trying to get better as a team.
And it's just a quick follow on that. So, to what extent? I mean, obviously, much more competitive game. Feels like the team's gelling. You still didn't win, obviously. I mean, to what extent does this game feel like a win, if at all, to you guys?
It's tough to say it feels like a win. I know what you're trying to get at, but I just feel like it was a game for us to show. I mean, that was our first loss that wasn't a blowout, to be honest. And I think for us, it was just a really good show for us. Hey, we can compete. Hey, we're a good team. We just got to keep putting stuff together. And a lot of the times, it feels like we beat ourselves. And it was another night that we felt that way. And I think it was a positive for us, even though it's a tough loss to hang our hat on. I think it was a positive. Just trying to look through. Trying to find something good. It felt like it was a little bit positive tonight, that being a competitive game.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. And last 2. Let's go to Andrew and Adam.
Gio, going back to last week when you said you guys had so much stuff that kind of brought you together a little bit, there's been noise throughout the year. There's been noise for a long time, actually. Was there a galvanizing point? Some of the onslaught of media, the criticism of coach, or anything else that kind of brought you guys a little bit more together, made you sort of say, okay, let's cut this thing off?
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of noise every week, right? More noise every week. But I feel like after the Clemson game, it was everything. It just felt like everything was something new every day. I think for us, it was kind of you don't want to read into it, but you got guys that read into it, and we're like, man, that's not even close to true. This is so off the wall. This is random things. I think as a team, we're just hey, why are we even listening to this? Why are we paying attention to that stuff? When at the end of the day, we know what's going on in our building, and none of this is true, and everyone's just trying to get some likes, get some views, and that's what at the end of the day, that's what people are trying to do out there. And I think just as a team, we just grew and started ignoring everything going on outside noise and just being a team.
And last one for Adam.
Gio, you had 4 weeks off since UCF. Is there a chance that this is the healthiest you've been tonight?
Yeah, it actually was. Thing came out how I had a car accident right before the TCU game, which wasn't the greatest feeling.
Right.
This is actually the best I felt this season, and it just felt good to be out there and not worried about any part of my body being hurt or lingering, or feel like I got to take some medicine before a game or do this or do that. And it was just really nice to just get back out there and play at 100%.
Yeah, you zipped some of those balls. Just real quick, were you able to watch the Clemson game? We were looking for you. I don't think you were on the sideline. Did you go to that game?
I was at the game.
Okay.
I was at the game. I got to watch the game. Just be a good teammate for everybody, to show up for everybody. But I got to watch the game. Yeah.
Okay. What was that like watching it?
It was hard, but it was also, inspiring in the sense of Max. Max has Max has been a great person for me. I'm glad. He's the person I said, when I'm done with football, I still want to be friends with Max. Max is a great guy. And watching Max go out there and compete, and after everything he's been through, he's an inspiration for me. And just seeing him every day, Max has been awesome. And I think for me, another game that didn't turn out how we wanted to, but just seeing Max go out there and be able to, throw it around and compete was awesome.